Welcome YouTube to the week 1 battle of the PEBA. Today we got my team, the Northside Noiverns, taking on the Brooklyn Banettes, coached by Evie. Make sure to go check out all of his links that are in the description below. Before the match begins, I'm going to very briefly go over the team I built and review Evie's team as well. A quick timestamp will appear on screen now to tell you when the actual battle begins if you don't want to watch the pre-show, as I call it. So first we are going to look at Evie's team, which includes Mega Metacham, Excadrill, Amoonguss, Chandelure, Rabombi, Lantern, Azemon, Salamence, Gigalith, Stoutland, Sneasel, and Evie himself. Now the first thing that pops up in my mind about this team is Sand. Having Gigalith, Excadrill, and Stoutland is absolutely huge for a Sand team. Another thing is a Z-Crystal Salamence. Salamence has got a huge move pool, thus it's very scary because it can basically OHKO anything on my team if it brings a certain Z move I'm not ready for. So that's another big threat. But for this week, I decided to bring Sawk, Kartana, Mega Venusaur, Suicune, Doublade, and Palossand. I personally do not believe he's going to bring Sand week 1, but realistically, anything can really happen. So for this part of the video, I had a script, but I made this a while ago, so it doesn't really make sense to me anymore. So I'm just gonna kind of wing it almost, this next team builder part. So I hope you guys are okay with that. I don't really remember this as much, but again, I'm gonna try my hardest to go through these Pokemon. So first Pokemon I'm bringing this week is Sawk. Sawk has the Expert Belt, which I'll explain in a little bit. Max attack, max speed, a jolly nature to try and get those most outspeeds as I can. Moves are Close Combat, Earthquake, Knockoff, and Ice Punch. Sawk is really important to the team as is my only Chandelure counter basically, because I don't really have a Chandelure like switch in this week. So Sawk is here because since it has 30, it can guarantee take one hit, and Sawk is faster than Chandelure unless it is Scarfed. So I can hit it for Knockoff or Earthquake, preferably Knockoff because that's good overall, but that's what Earthquake's there for, dude, just in case. So that's good for that. Close Combat can hit the entire Sand Core too, so I thought Fighting types was really crucial for that part of it as well. And Ice Punch is for Salamence if I need to. I have another Salamence counter, so it's not as important. So that's what Ice Punch is there for. I do have Expert Belt over the Choice Scarf. I'm not a big fan of locking myself into one move if I want to have Sawk in there for like a little bit of a time. So there's that, and I also don't have a Z Crystal since Sawk is one of my Zmons. I am kind of bluffing a Z Crystal, so it could like potentially knock out something with a Z Crystal if I had it, but I'm bluffing it, so I won't. So you know, might get some switches off of that too. So that's my Sawk. It's gonna be a hard hitter this week, and my next Pokemon I'm bringing is actually Kartana. Kartana this week has a max attack and max speed with Jolly Nature, and I literally just said that I don't really like locking myself into moves so much, but Kartana does have the Choice Scarf this week because I want to outspeed basically everything on this team. Kartana's got Leaf Blade, Smart Strike, Sacred Sword, and Knockoff, pretty standard moveset, trying to hit as much as I can. I'm not trying to really take advantage of Beast Boost as I have Choice Scarf this week. If I wanted to take advantage of Beast Boost, I'd have a Life Orb or something like that. Something that wouldn't lock me to just one move. But Kartana this week, he's got massive attack too. Just gonna throw that out there real quick. 181 is nothing to laugh at. But okay, anyway, Kartana, I realized the Brooklyn Banettes kind of have a slower team. The only thing that really outspeeds Kartana is Choice Scarf, Sneasel, and Sandrush Excadrill. Luckily, those mons both can't OHKO Kartana, so I definitely have a good chance to get one move off of this thing. Again, with the moveset, it does cover a lot. And Kartana's main job just this week is just to do chip damage. He's not really here to do, like, just try to sweep or anything. It's just I'm trying to get things off, trying to hit things so Sawk or someone else can come in and clean up the team later. Even though that Kartana's usual job is that, I'm switching the roles this week. So the next Pokemon I'm bringing this week is Mega Venusaur. Venusaur, of course. 248 HP, 164 special defense, and 96 speed with a calm nature. Moves are Giga Drain, Sludge Bomb, Synthesis, and Earthquake. I'm gonna be real with you guys. I don't exactly remember why I have 96 speed on this thing. I know it outspeeds Chandelure that's not invested, but it's Chandelure is gonna be invested. So I'm not sure exactly why I did this. I wasn't gonna bring Mega Venusaur originally. Actually, I had plans on not bringing it, but then I re-looked at this team and looked at Lantern particularly out of all Pokemon and realized Lantern doesn't hit my Pokemon hard, but I can't really hit Lantern too much. And I don't have Crocodile on the team this week, so that's another big part of it. So I decided to put it on there last minute, and it checks Lantern really, really well. Kartana does too with Leaf Blade, of course, but Kartana's got such a low special defense. Even Lantern can do a decent amount of damage to it if it's got like HP Fire, honestly. But that's for Venusaur's job, is to take care of Lantern if it even comes. It also checks Rabombi very well. I don't know why I didn't see that first earlier. So Rabombi and Lantern really just do terrible against Venusaur, especially with the special defense investment. Can't really hit it too much. It can stall with Amoonguss a little bit. I'm not saying it will win the battle, but it won't lose either, basically. It would just kind of sit there. And Amoonguss can't put Venusaur to sleep because it's a grass type too, so that's also pretty important. I threw an Earthquake there for Excadrill just in case. Chandelure, that's another big one. Again, Chandelure, a big problem. I do have Thick Fat. This Venusaur, personally one of my favorite abilities, one of the best in the game. Even though it's a good ability, it'll stop Chandelure from OHKOing Venusaur, but it'll still do a lot of damage, so I'm still fearing that a little bit. But again, Venusaur is mainly here for the Lantern, Rabombi, and kind of the Amoonguss. So that's Venusaur's job for this week. The fourth Pokemon I'm bringing is my Royal Dog, which is Suicune. Suicune's got 248 HP, 136 defense with a bold nature, and 124 speed. Again, I have no idea what I'm trying to speed creep here. I apologize. It is something. I know it was something. I never do things uselessly, so it's definitely something. But its moves are Calm Mind, Toxic, Scald, and Substitute. Now, this sounds like a cancerous set, but we're going to get into it in a second. Suicune's Water types does pretty good against his team overall. Suicune is basically the defensive wall of the week, as you just saw the stats there. It stops Chandelure minus Energy Ball very well. Chandelure doesn't do much to it, minus Energy Ball, of course, which it probably will have realistically. I'm really fearing this thing. If you couldn't tell, it's a thumbnail, for goodness sake. But there's that. Scald Burns against this team are very crucial, as a lot of his team's physical. Not everything, but his main hard hitters are physical, as in Medicham, Excadrill, even Gigalith, Stoutland, Salamence. Anything that can be burnt with Scald is very useful. And Scald does the job here, as I prefer Suicune over Mantine this week, because Suicune's got better defense overall, and I was making it a defensive wall. And I didn't want to deal with rocks, as rocks are pretty big with Excadrill flying around with Gigalith as well. One thing I do have to watch out for Suicune is Amoonguss, and particularly Sub-Lantern. I threw on Toxic for the Lantern because Scald doesn't hit it, basically. Well, it does nothing. And I didn't want to burn it, so I did put on Toxic. But if Lantern does have Substitute, it makes Suicune basically useless. So that's the Suicune for this week. I'm hoping it does well. I actually really don't like using Suicune too much. Just another fat water type. But hopefully it'll do well. My next Pokemon is Doublade. Doublade this week has 248 HP, 208 attack, and 52 defense with a relaxed nature. He's got the Eviolite because that's like the only item that's good for it. I have Swords Dance, Shadow Sneak, Sacred Sword, and Protect. There's no Steel type move on this, but there's a reason for that. The really less cool Psychic and Fighting Mega Pokemon, Mega Medicham, does pretty good work against my team, to be completely honest. And Doublade is a really good counter to Mega Medicham, as the most Mega Medicham can do to Doublade is 41.7 with Fire Punch. That is the max it can do. Now, that does sound like a lot, but consider Mega Medicham with basically 200 base attack, which is absolutely massive. Doublade does pretty good against it. And another thing that's really not scaring Doublade too much is Shadow Sneak and 2-Co Mega Medicham, and priority is very important. Doublade's actually my only priority mon on the team, I believe. But that's very important for Doublade. That's kind of its main job this week. It doesn't really have much else to do. Sacred Sword to hit a few other mons. Steel wasn't really necessary against this team this week, except for Rabombi, but Rabombi can't touch Doublade, so Shadow Sneak will have to do. Plus, I can Swords Dance up on it too. So Swords Dance, Shadow Sneak, pretty deadly. I'm not trying to get it to do that, considering, it doesn't heal, and, Shadow Sneak isn't that strong. But if I can get a sweep off, that would have been pretty awesome. Well, that's the Doublade for this week, and we're going to move on to our final Pokemon, which is Palossand. Palossand has 248 HP, max defense with 8 special defense, and a bold nature, making this thing a very bulky monster. It's got Stealth Rock, Earth Power, Hidden Power Ice, and Shore Up. Now, Palossand does well against Medicham and Excadrill with the bulk it has. I know Palossand doesn't have Shadow Ball, but it can still hit Medicham for Earth Power for a fair amount of damage, which is always good. Plus, again, Doublade's job is to take care of Medicham, not really Palossand this week. I have Shore Up for reliable recovery, and if he does decide to bring a Sand team, it heals 75% HP, which is basically a win-win. But Palossand's actually main job this week is to counter Salamence. Now, I know it's not the best counter to the Salamence, but nothing really is considering it's the Z mod. It can basically OHKO anything with it. I have HP Ice for on Palisand because it does over 75% to Ments, unless it has a Yachi Berry, which I doubt it will have. I had the Pasho Berry for any Aqua Tails or Hydro Pumps it's holding on to, which it will be able to live either of those if it does have it. Water Compaction will help if it has Aqua Tail, and if it's just a physical mon in general, so it can start taking hits. As I said, it can take any physical hit from Salamence, which is nice. And again, HP Ice is just going to do massive damage, and I can come in with Dew Blade or Shadow Sneak anytime, and I'll do a lot too. And I honestly do feel like Eevee will kind of prepare for my higher tier mons, so he won't really be expecting Palisand week 1. But that's just what I'm thinking. So apologies if this team builder is a little vague. I don't quite remember it, and the next few are going to be the same way as well. But that's kind of it for the team builder. We're going to get into the battle next. I'm going to talk about it after the battle since this is post-comp. I personally really don't like stopping and starting the replay over and over again because it's so choppy. I just want you guys to see the battle. And I will mention the turn, what I'm talking about after, so you guys can go back to the turn and thus you'll know what I'm talking about when I'm going over the battle after it. So I hope you guys enjoy the battle. We're going to head over to Pokemon Showdown. after this battle, you can tell I am very rusty. I personally think it was actually the worst I've ever done in a league match. But anyway, we do lose to a -3 differential. And now I'm going to quickly break down this battle now. He didn't bring the Lantern or the Rabombi, so that made Venusaur's role in this battle change a little. But besides that, his team did look roughly what I was ready for, or what at least I thought I was ready for. Turn 1 was actually pretty okay, as I immediately switched into Doublade to counter Mega Medicham, as he did go for the fake out so I could gain the early momentum. I didn't want to lose Kartana that early to a turn 1 Fire Punch, so that is my reasoning to switch. Turn 3 is I already made my first huge blunder while preparing this team, as I forgot to consider Dragon Dance Salamence of all things. I do have my counter out on the field at the moment, but I never really considered a +1 Salamence. I don't know why. But okay, turn 4 he sets up another one, which is a major problem. As you already know, HP Ice doesn't OHKO Salamence, but it brings him very low. At this point, Salamence can one-shot my Power Slam, even with its investment. Turn 6 came around, and there was another huge mistake, as I could have switched in Doublade and finished Salamence off with Shadow Sneak. Shadow Sneak did 13% earlier, but that was only because of Intimidate, and my idiots all forgot about it. By turn 10, Doublade was able to take out Salamence without it sweeping my team. However, Suicune now only has 45% of his HP, which now is completely unnecessary, as now Suicune cannot switch in on Chandelure or Excadrill now. Turn 12, as I just said, Chandelure took out Suicune with Shadow Ball, then I proceeded to bring in Sawk, hoping to knock off an item. Next turn, I damaged Gigalith a little, but more importantly, another blunder in my preparing is that I forgot Sandstorm damage takes away Sawk's 30, and thus Chandelure and Medicham can now OHKO Sawk. I don't know why I didn't think about this, but I made a huge mistakes preparing this. Turn 14, I reveal I'm not choice and take out Gigalith with close combat. First kill, second kill, my bad. However, Gigalith has done his job by setting up the sand. Turn 15 and 16, I switch into Kartana. I had to sack it off because nothing on my team could take 2 Earthquakes, and it's the least important member of the team at this point in the battle. I didn't want Kartana doing nothing, but Kartana essentially did nothing in this battle. Turn 17 is roughly the only time hacks went against me in this game, as Venusaur was critted with an Earthquake, and now it cannot take out Excadrill as it was originally able to live 2 Earthquakes. I would have been able to take it out and had Doublade or Sawk pleasing the switch in. Turn 19, I finish off Excadrill Shadow Sneak, but now Doublade's on the field, so it's his choice, not my momentum, his momentum. So turn 20, he actually brought out Amoonguss, and he put Doublade to sleep, which was actually really smart on his play, as he could bring in Chandelure late game, and if he locks himself into Fire Blast, if he even is choiced, which I'm pretty sure he was choiced, and if it missed, Shadow Sneak would have been able to clean it up, but he prevented that from happening. And then last but not least, turn 22, Chandelure cleans up Sawk with Fire Blast, and then 23 also Doublade with Fire Blast. And that is the game. That was a very quick wrap up. I'm sorry I just went fast. The battle was actually pretty fast. I definitely played extremely bad, and my prep could have been better, as I know my team did okay against his, but GG's to Eevee anyway. Again, his links will be in the description below, so go check them out. Thanks for watching. Next video, and next week, well, not next week for me, but for the channel, we play against the Michigan Mian Xiao, so let's hope that goes better. See you there.